it going? Here's my new video. I do videos now when I really have something to say. And this video is a prediction of where YouTube is going in the future. The future of YouTube being that I'm the prophet of prophets. I'm the one who found Atlantis, making me prophet of prophets. Hey, you birds, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Hey, hey, God, shut up. Alright, I apologize if the birds are doing noises. I tried to make them shut up. They didn't listen to me. So, the future of YouTube is that we're going to hit a saturation point with people, you know, being like interesting, you know, like they're an interviewee and then they start a channel and then they get really big. And then then they start, you know, and then everybody does, and everybody's watching YouTube all the time. It's going to have to evolve after a couple of more years pretty quickly to where people do videos because they want to do videos. It's going to go back to the original YouTube, like where it's broadcast yourself. They don't say that anymore. That was back when they were having like the talent search. You know, and if we run into like, because if everybody does videos all the time and we run into like storage problems, then you can start culling videos by taking the silly ones away and giving priority to the actual like education ones. But they have all these new technologies to store. So I don't know if that's an issue yet, but I just wanted to kind of give a really quick, like, or as quick as I can, history of YouTube until now, and then the trends, and then in the future, and then how we can keep it funky, fresh, and healthy and everything. Because, you know, they say that social media is, I guess, wreaking havoc on the girls. Because they're, it's like some kind of like a competition and stuff, and also it's wasting time of everybody. You know, everybody and their dog is watching YouTube. I was in the gym yesterday riding on the recliner bike, and I looked over and the dude next to me was watching a YouTube video, a movie review of The Bourne Ultimatum. So back in the past, you know, people would do YouTube videos, and then, you know, they would have the different stars, and if somebody didn't, like, I guess, make money, they would quit. And even even people who do make money, they have to take time off and stuff. But, and then I was kind of like surprised how slowly it caught on. I remember I started doing YouTube back in uploading YouTube videos just as soon as I could, and I would have done it earlier, but I didn't have a camera because I didn't have the money for it. I got my first video camera to do YouTube videos in like 2009, I think it was. So that's 15 years ago. Yeah, so I've been doing YouTube 15 years. And it was just kind of like what I think about this, what I think about that. And you know, I was kind of curious why like celebrities didn't do YouTube videos, because like there was kind of a lag, and then there was the problem where somebody would harass, like a famous person would harass somebody, and then I don't know any examples, but I remember hearing that people say, oh, the person doesn't have a platform to defend themselves. And I was thinking, what do you mean? You do have a platform. Everybody has a platform. And so what they meant was like they don't have a bunch of eyeballs. Like the only way to defend yourself if somebody's slandering you is by having a bunch of eyeballs on you. And all you need is your like defense video. Like if Donald Trump decided he was going to target me and have all kinds of problems with me and then turn all these people against me, all I would do is upload a video defending myself, and then I'd wash my hands of it, you know? And if anybody commented on all of my other videos, like, oh, Donald Trump says you're the worst because this, that, I'd be like, well, look at my website. I mean, look at my channel. I mean, my video answering. Just you know, and then that's my explanation. If you can comment on the video and I'll comment back, you know, and then I can wash my hands of it and move on with my life and not worry about like I'm getting slandered. You know, like if I can't get a job because Donald Trump's slandering me, I'll just tell the people at the job center, look, there's my defense video, you know, or I'll just go get help over at the job aid place. It's so that never made sense. So people need to upload videos just to, you know, not for the idea of getting hits, just for the idea of doing your part. So there was like an explosion over the last few years. I don't know how many years but it seems recently it's more and more of all these new people doing videos. Like somebody would get an interview, the interview gets lots of hits, so then they start their own channel gets a bunch of hits, and then maybe even they start doing interviews, and there's all these people getting hits, but there's going to become a saturation point where, you know, because like there's all these different sections on YouTube. Like you have the fitness influencers, and you've got the warfighter influencers, and all these warfighter influencers are getting super popular. But like, you know, like Sean Ryan, the Navy SEAL, and now he's doing interviews and he's, you know, has products out. Jocko Willink, the Navy SEAL, you know, big time star now. He even has his drink and everything. Well, there's like 10,000 Navy SEALs, you know, and there's like thousands of CIA agents, you know. They can't, like Andrew Bustamante is making money on YouTube telling people stuff, but you can't just have an oversaturation of all these dudes telling their war stories, because you know it's kind of like there's not enough customers for it. So then you know, maybe the established guys will be able to continue making money for it. But then if you want to tell your war story, I think in the future people will just open channels and tell their war stories, just to tell their war stories for their friends to watch. And people can upload videos just to get like 5 or 10 hits. I'm super proud. I wear it like a badge of honor that I do videos that get 10 hits. Like I don't want to get more hits, you know, because I feel bad for people just watching my videos, you know, like you know, it's like you should, our time is precious. Like spend your time trying to go to the gym or something like that. You know, like when I do videos on my main channel, I'd love it if I get hits, but not on my vlog. But people should have the vlog idea philosophy when they do YouTube. And so what will happen in the future, once there's a saturation point, I think people will start doing videos just for the sake of doing the videos. And but then there should be like a standardization, like utilize YouTube as a tool to help separate the cream from the crop of the people. You know, part of your CV, your resume, and so that we can, you know, have a true meritocracy, because these days people people still judge each other based on how many hits you have. It's super childish. How many hits you have, how much money you make, and you know, like how many followers you have, and that's all you need. Case in point, Dan Bilzerian said that he thought, you know, because he got super popular having sex with all these different women on Instagram, the natural next step for him was president of the United States. I heard him say that a bunch of times. And then even yesterday, I was, I don't know what video I was watching, but it was like a compilation of stuff, and I saw some clip where Logan Paul likes to introduce him as possible future president of the United States. And probably a lot of other people are doing that, maybe because they got the idea from Trump. Trump was one of the first, and I even did a video about him. Trump was brilliant. Well, he wasn't brilliant. He was lucky, but he was brilliant for being open-minded to the idea, because I think they offered the job to a bunch of other people and they turned it down, and he took for the Apprentice. Apprentice was kind of like YouTube Part 1 as his entrance, and that's how he became president. And so you know, just being popular makes you the president. And you know, and just having money gets you interviews with people, and gets you more money, because then you can invest. Like, I saw a video just yesterday. There's a dude who had 75,000 subscribers for like a technology channel, and now he's getting evicted from his apartment because there's the guy who owns his apartment is just like exponentially increasing his wealth, buying up all the apartments in like Toronto or something. And that's going around all the time. People are buying up people's houses because they think that's a legit job, is to buy up everybody's house and then just become a slumlord and then kick people out so you can increase the rent. This dude was gonna have to move back into his parents. And nobody, that's kind of like smiled on, like that makes you smart. It doesn't take a whole lot of explaining or thinking to realize that's not a healthy way to run a country, because then you get the wrong people in power, and then you get a fascism, then you get somebody who's going to become president, and then just get all their donors in their cabinet. That never happened before. And so yeah, we need to set up like an actual standardization system, kind of like how in the beginning all the different railroad tracks were the different size, and you'd have to take all the stuff off the train and put it on another train once you got to a new country. And then they standardized it so that all, like, international law, so all of the railroad tracks were the same size. And so I think that's where we're going with YouTube. We're going to have to standardize YouTube, like with a set of rules. Like when a country gets more developed, it's no longer where you just go on the whim of the king. You actually write the laws down, and then the law becomes king, and the law protects you. And so to turn YouTube into that is where we're going. And it doesn't have to be like with law, just like culturally. So I think in the future, people can use their YouTube channels to try to get a job by showing how smart they are. So in the future, more and more videos on YouTube on their channel will be like recording people taking IQ tests, those online IQ tests. I have a bunch of them now, and I'm going to take more because I didn't do very well. I was sick when I took them. But I'm going to upload them anyway, because if I upload a bunch of IQ tests where I don't do well, it'll motivate me to upload more where I do better. That's one way, and not to get hits, just to show who you are. Like if you're going to defend yourself against some famous person talking trash about you, you just do your defense video. Like with I used to get a lot of hatred on YouTube, like more hatred than friends on YouTube. Up until from when I first started doing videos in 2009 up until 2015, because I got a DUI for marijuana in 2015 on Rocky Mountain National Park, and I did a video talking about it, and then some Buiko1. It's probably the video's still up there. BUIKO #1 did a video talking about like advertising the world that I got a DUI, and like making fun of me for it. And it was funny. That guy's funny. But but then I ran into money problems because of it, and I uploaded a video where I was complaining about money and asking for donations, because I have a great website that is worthy of donation. And then some random person uploaded my video on YouTube titled, like that asshole Kyle Pounds is begging for money, that loser, what an idiot. And then all these hatred comments on it, from I had like a community of haters, and it was an anonymous person. It was like a hate channel, and a bunch of other people, did videos like titled Kyle Pounds and like fucking with me. There's some other kid, and then but that was kind of it. That was the last straw, because after that my website got colorized and got a little bit better, so I don't think people would mess with me anymore. They feel kind of like stupid to have a problem with little old me, because because like as my website got better, more and more people got on YouTube, and I kind of faded into the woodwork more. But oops, kind of lost my train of thought. So in the future, sorry, I forgot with the context of that. Maybe I'll come back onto it. But in the future, people will be doing these videos to showcase their intelligence. So I'm actually trying to set up right now. I'm in the process of setting up that that new standardization. It's kind of like the republicanization, turning the standardization of YouTube, but not by law, not like we need to write it down, just culturally. So I have this idea, like, oh yeah, so let me go back to the to all the influencers, because one thing that I can see a similarity between what's going on now in the world and the fall of Rome. Like in the fall of Rome, it first started out with intelligent, originally minded people who came up with a new idea and then introduced it to the world and got it going, like the people who came up with the idea of the Republic and all the different way that they were going to set it up with, the dictator and the senators and the where you have two consuls that get elected. So it's and then they take turns. Like one day it's one consul, next day it's another consul in charge, and just the perfect balance of power. And then that ends up being like a formula. But then it started to unravel when it just turned into it became less democratized, and it became a kingdom, like a dictatorship permanently, an empire where the emperor was the king, and the senators didn't have as much power, and then the Senate just faded away, and then eventually in the year like 200, like 192, Severus takes over, and it just turned into an army, a big army. When he died, he told his sons, pay the soldiers well and damn everybody else. And it kind of reminds me of what's going on now. Like we have such a military budget that the soldiers are the ones who are taking over the world. The ex-soldiers are the social influencers now, and it causes problems because soldiers are like traumatized people. Like they were traumatized before they ever even became soldiers. That's why they became soldiers. They're half of them, or I don't know half of them, but I was watching a video the other day. I was watching some soldier videos, and I can't remember who it was, but it was like one of these soldier influencers, and the title of the video is don't make soldiers, the army social influencers, don't look up to these guys. Don't make them your shining light. And he said, because there's only, like when you get back from army and you're bragging about all the people you killed, there's only two reasons why you would do that. You're either a psycho or you're coping. And so there's a certain chunk of people who become soldiers who are psychos. They were psychos before. They like killing. And if they don't, they become psychos, or they become traumatized afterwards. And then they're going to start pumping their philosophy out into the world. And then it's going to turn into like this world where people think like regular people think like soldiers. Like there's that guy, the sniper with the dreadlocks. I can't remember his name, but he was getting interviewed by somebody, and he's like, yeah, if my son was getting bullied, I would just tell him to run away, but like if he keeps getting bullied, I would tell him, bring me back an eyeball. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. And this guy's like a big time, influencer, and everybody, people look up to him, and he's telling people, if he would tell his son that if anybody's harassing his son, remove the dude's eyeball and bring it back to him, you're going to get more and more people talking like that. And, with the UFC guys, and you handle stuff with fist fights, and it's like we're devolving, and we're using YouTube as a platform to never grow up. And it kind of sucks up the oxygen, and then there's no room left for the true intellectualism. There are a lot of YouTube superstars out now who are actually ex-criminals. And, that's fine. I guess you couldn't get a job because you have a criminal background. And then because they're famous, they become, I guess they're interesting, they become big-time interviewers. There was a video I saw the other day. It was this ex-Navy SEAL who was the CEO of John McAfee's money laundering criminal empire, and he was getting interviewed by some dude who was in the jail, and I looked up who that guy was, and he was some famous scam artist who has made a bunch of money scamming people out of their money, and now he's a big time YouTuber who does interviews, and he's a big star. And and then that guy from the Leonardo DiCaprio, where he was the penny stock scammer. Now that guy's a big YouTuber. And then the mafia guys are big YouTuber. Michael Francese and Sammy the Bull Gravano are big time YouTubers making money and talking about that stuff. And then they spread their wings, and then they start spreading their philosophy. And I was actually, I thought that I like that redemption thing, but. And, and like Michael Francese is up there talking about how he's a Christian, and he's reformed, and, that's the American way, and that's the Christian way to reform, criminals and ex-murderers, and, now you can go to Jesus and you can become peaceful and everything. That's even Buddhist. There was a guy named Milarepa, who is a serial killer in Tibet, and he had a necklace full of finger bones of all the people he'd murdered, and then he had a come to Buddha moment and became one of the greatest Buddhist monks on the top of the hill teaching meditation, and became one of the great teachers, So that's the redemption story is great. But I'm watching Michael Francese, and then he said in a video, he's like, oh yeah, if you hurt my daughter, I'll come and I'll kill you. I'll come and I'll get you. And I'm thinking, I had to unsubscribe to him. I'm like, so you're a fake Christian. You're just a Christian to get hits. Because that's not Christian. Christian thing to do is if your daughter gets beat up, you don't deal with it. You call the cops. That's why we have cops. And so, these guys are spreading, and then, they're talking about, tough and I'll fuck you up. Like Chuck Zito bragging about how he just punches people in the face and knocks people out just because, somebody accidentally knocked him off his motorbike and he knocked the dude out, and he knocks out actors and stuff, and then he's and then maybe he starts a channel, and so it's like we're heading towards the fall of Rome, where we're getting taken over by the army, an army mentality. And then it got really violent, that guy Severus, who told his sons to only give money to the army, his son Caracalla murdered his brother Geta right in front of his mother with his friends. And they lived in separate parts of the palace because they thought they were going to kill each other, and then he did. And then Caracalla goes and murders 30,000 people in Alexandria just because they were protesting. And it just got more and more brutal, and then there was no difference. And then Rome just crumbled from the inside because they were they got so many second chances from the barbarians, because the barbarians were Christians too, and they didn't want to topple Rome. But when they finally came down and sacked Rome in 410, most of the people in the army were Romans. They were Roman slaves. It was like Spartacus Part 2. They set the slaves free, and their army just grew as they were coming down, and the Romans themselves destroyed the city of Rome. So, so we need to, keep moving forward with the development of humanity, where we become more and more, you know, Christian, but in the peaceful sense, in the real sense, more and more peaceful, and more intelligent. And because if you just let people, if we're just going to follow people, you know, because of how popular they are and how like exciting their stories are, you know, then they can start spewing their stuff. So here, their shit. So, what my proposal for the future of YouTube is, you take, everybody should, you know, do videos, not for hits, do a lot of, you know, just as your civic duty, do a lot of, and you know, to try to show that you're like a, you know, doing videos should be seen as a positive thing that actually helps you in society. And actually, my YouTube and my website, it actually hurts me. I applied in the last week. I applied to 52 jobs on Indeed, and the only reply that I got was teaching autistic kids, but then they gave up on me. Their website didn't work. I couldn't sign in, but they never wrote me back to try to help me out. And then the other person was a preschool teacher, and they're trying to tell me that I should get a teaching license. And I'm actually thinking about it. I'm looking into it. Maybe it's just a certificate, like a couple of week course or whatever, but that's not that expensive, and maybe it'd be worth it if I can stay afloat long enough financially. But but nobody else was interested in me, and I interviewed with the Taking Care of Old People, and I thought I did great in the interview. It was like a half-hour-long interview, and then they texted me yesterday that I got rejected. I got rejected to all of the different dispensaries I applied to, because it says when you get rejected. I got rejected to all the different house cleaning places I applied to, and then I didn't get replied to any of the other ones. The only people who replied to me were the preschool teaching and the teaching of the autistic kids. So it actually kind of hurts me. It doesn't. I'd be better off not even doing YouTube. And I'm only talking about positive stuff. I'm not one of these like gangbangers up, you know, gangsters telling gangster stories, or army people telling people who I killed and telling them that how I would tell my kid to come back with somebody's eyeball, or that I would murder somebody just because they beat up my daughter instead of call the cops. You know, like those guys keep getting more and more popular. You know, and me, I even get targeted by the government. You know, the FBI visited me twice. The first time with 2 mental health workers. I could even play the recording of the mental health worker afterward trying to get me in. Just because I said, just because I was critiquing the techniques of the, you know, the people, the bang bang people. Oh my God, now I'm super freaked out to even talk about it. Because then they all start thinking that I'm like that. And it's like, dude, I'm Mr. Peaceful. Like, I'm in... Why are you targeting me and you're letting these gangsters threaten people online and get million subscribers? So the future, I think, is the best way to actually make it, you know, self-education on YouTube and showing what you know is those IQ tests. But also, you know, just telling you what you know, like a book review, like you listen to a book and then you do the book review of it. I'm going to start doing that pretty soon. But then also, you could recite history, what you know about history. But I came up also with this idea of, I call it the biweekly history test, because you would take it, the idea is you take it every other week. And it's for an hour, the random number, like you would have you'd have the AD test, 0 to 2000. So you have a random number generator, pick 0 to 200, and then that'll tell you what decade that you are supposed to talk about. So if it gets, so the random number generator, 116. So that's the 1150s. So now you have to tell me you have 1 minute to say what happened in the 1150s, and then you grade yourself. When I first came up with the idea was that you grade yourself with Wikipedia, but now it's way better. You can grade yourself so much faster with ChatGPT. So like I was grading myself. I did a video. The last time I did the video was September 15th, and life caught up with me, and I'm having motivation problems, and my brain actually is not working right because the lack of, like, I yawn all the time because my brain's not getting enough oxygen, and I had too much marijuana stuck in my brain, and so. But now I'm finally grading myself, and I did the AD, so 0 to 2000 AD, but then I did okay on that. But then I did BC, 0 to 2000 BC, and I was grading myself, and like it was like the 1150s BC, and I was mentioning a bunch of stuff that happened like 1160s and 1140s, like I almost got it. But basically, if something happens in that decade, you get a point that you mentioned, and you can grade yourself with ChatGPT. Like you say, like if I say, yeah, in the 1150s, King Tut died, and then I Google it. Or I say, hey, when did King Tut die on ChatGPT? And it goes, King Tut died, it looks like on the 1165 or whatever. And you're like, oh, that's not when he was. He was early now. But, oh, man, I was close, but I didn't quite get it, so no point. And it's super easy to grade. And then you give yourself a grade. And that's your history grade. And then you do that. If you do that consistently every 2 weeks, and you're doing book reviews, and you're uploading videos of your exercises, because like you're basically being transparent, and you're showing what you can do and how smart you are. That should put you up at the top of the heap just for doing it. And then if people, more and more people doing it, then the person who gets the highest score would be at the top of the heap. And then if people all get high scores, then the person who has the reputation for grading themselves fairly, because then it'll become like a display of your character, because then like if you have a bad character, you'll kind of start giving yourself points just because you're like 1 decade off, and then you'll get busted doing that, and then you'll get the reputation for being not a trustworthy grader of yourself. And so people could affords an opportunity for people to shine. That's what you need in this world, is an opportunity for people to shine. I was listening to Edward Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire a few months ago, and I remember he said something that struck a nerve with me. He's like, yeah, and then the situation becomes untenable, where there's no money, and it's just might makes right, and there's no opportunity for anybody to shine. So that's kind of the world we're in now, where there's no opportunity. We have an educational system, and I actually even saw it just last night. Andrew Bustamante had a video. The CIA guy had a video titled "What's Wrong with the U.S. Economy" or something. And I didn't watch the video, but I saw the very beginning where he says, our educational system is set up to be an industrial revolution, and it's not even efficient, and it's not even designed for people to be smart. It's just designed to make people brainwashed. You have to wait in line, and then by the time you're an adult, you're brainwashed, and you can't even think for yourself or stand up for yourself. And then that graduates into the world we have now, where people think that you don't have a platform just because people don't watch you. And I was a victim of that myself. Like, I got so fucking abused by teachers. Like, I showed up every single day to this class in college. I'm an adult. I'm 19 years old. And I showed up every single day. I did all the homework and everything perfectly, just as good as anybody else. And then these two fat old bitches, Lillian Lang and Doreen Yates, they're like, they didn't like me because teachers give you bad grades if you don't have a smile on your face. They'll give the good grades to the people who have parents who harass them. And what does that do? Now every fucking parent is harassing the teacher because they think that that's the way that you get you intimidate the teacher into giving your kid a good grade. So then they get into the college, but then once you go to the college, that's not enough. Now you got to go to graduate school. It's called elite overproduction. Peter Turchin wrote a book about it, elite overproduction, and it just gets out of control. And so now school's just about fitting in to that small group of people because of your the grade you got from the school you got, and that's why we're having this crisis where you like that actress from Full House, Laurie or whatever, got arrested because she was paying people to give her daughter like a false high SAT score or something so she could get into the school. Because that's like, so people are trying to stay rich by being by getting like a master's at some school and then I guess her daughter was on the rowing team but never rowed, you know. So then it's all this smoke and mirrors, right? Because and so the way I got brainwashed, I'm like in this school and then they go, hey, yeah, you'll get no lower than a B, and I'm thinking to myself, a B? Why not just give me an A? I did a job, I should have a day. And then the grade comes and I got a C, and like an idiot I didn't even say anything because I was just a wet noodle by then, because I knew that if I said anything, my parents would side with the teacher. They'd blame me, and I tried to drop out. I tried to drop out every semester, and I told my parents, and I even wrote a 5-page long letter to my father once, and they just spit it right back in my face. Oh no, the only way for survival is the school. Bend over and take it up the ass. They're right all the time, and you're wrong. And then I should have got abused. Like I wanted to be a. I told this piece of shit, Dorian Yates, over at Fort Lewis College. I'm like, yeah, so the school, you know, the recruiter came to my high school and said, you know, you can design your own major. And she goes, just straight looking forward, she goes, choose one major. The kids at this school only want to take the easy classes. So she literally told me to my face, without looking in my eyes, but told me to my face that I'm an idiot who only wants to take the easy classes, and that all the students at that school are like that. And it was all, and I was like, and I didn't want to fight her. That's like, I was brainwashed by then. I didn't want to argue with her because I knew that if I did, it would get me in trouble with my parents. And so I was like, all right, fine, I'll just choose a major. So I choose English, and that caused me to not even be able to graduate. I had to graduate in 5 years with 2 summer classes because there were never classes for me to take because I could only take them in English. And then I had to pay like $1,000 to take creative writing at the University of Colorado because they could never fill up. They never had that class available or anything that would allow me to graduate at Fort Lewis. So I graduated in 8 years in 2000. 8 years with an English degree, 2 summer classes, and like this full load. Yeah, for nothing. And now it doesn't even help me get a job cleaning houses. It's like at all. So I was basically paid in the money to pay these piece of shit teachers to kick me out of school. And then I got kicked out by this piece of shit named Joe Lounge because he gave me a D- in the class, but he didn't tell me he got a D-. He's like, I gave you a grade, but it wasn't very good. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I'm like, 2 years, because they kicked me out of the student teaching. So I came back 2 years later. Hey, can I get the student teaching again? Because I guess something happened to the lady. And they're like, we're not going to place you because you got a D-. I'm like, he said he gave me a grade, but it wasn't very good. And the rules were you have to have a 2.5. And that's what caused me to stop riding my bike altogether. I tried to ride my bike, be part of that bike team, but I stopped riding because I had to study all the time so I could get that 2.5 because everybody was giving me the C's and the D's. Like I got a D in figure drawing, but I showed up every single day and did all the homework perfectly just because the dude didn't like me. I got a D in this other class, like because even though I showed up every day and did everything, like I got way more D's in college than A's for no reason. Like I did the same exact job as everybody else just because I'm like not the right, because I lived in my van, you know, and I had dreadlocks, you know, fucking ridiculous. So yeah, they actually successfully brainwash you into just taking it up the fucking ass, just like letting people walk all over you, just because they're a authority figure, you know, and then gaslighting you. Yeah, the main thing is there's no opportunity to shine, you know, because then you start actually self-educating and teaching and stuff. Only there's no room for that because that's not a segment in social media. So you have the different influencer groups. You have the fitness guys. You have the war fighters. And then you have like the overly produced video people, but there needs to be a new genre on YouTube. And it's the people who just show what they know, but off the top of their head. No overproduction, okay? Because it takes time to do that. It has to be something that you don't do for the money, and that everybody does, where you just hit the record button. And so I set up the perfect system for it. The random number generator comes up, and then you say what you know, what you happened in the decade, and then you grade yourself. And it's all black and white. And then you upload the video, and here's what I know about history. Like, boom, this is my opportunity to shine, if I deserve it, or to get my ass kicked if I deserve it. But if I get my ass kicked, then that'll just motivate me to work harder and to do better. But that's not how school is. You know, like if you get your ass kicked in grades in school, there's nothing you can do. You can't study harder and take the test, because they don't let you take in fact, they don't even let you take the test whenever you want to in the beginning. You have to take it on a certain day at a certain time, and then they get to come up with the rules. Like the teachers could come up with the rules in my school. I got one of the classes I got a D in. I got a D because the only reason I got a D in the entire class, even though I showed up every day and I did all of the homework assignment and read all the books perfectly, it was a Southwest literature class. And I got a D because I did some paper on Southwest literature or whatever, but I did it out of the Kate Turabian book. And this fucking idiot piece of shit bitch goes, on the very last day, after I was done with my paper, like the day before it was due, she goes, you know, you have to do the bibliography the way that I want you to do it, not the Kate Turabian way. Like literally said that. And she goes, I want you to do it this order and this order and this order. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to do that. It's a waste of time and that's stupid. So I just turned it in with Kate Turabian. And she got mad at me and I got a D in the entire class because of that, right? What the hell does that have to do with actual education and learning and studying and learning? All that has to do is that sets a precedent where, I can just make up the rules as I go along. So then if you open up a business, you just make up the rules as you go along because that's how you were taught. You're a teacher. You make up the rules as you go along, and it doesn't matter. It's just you give somebody a bad grade, you don't like them. So then it's all about the grades and the school. And when there's the perfect opportunity, is you just ditch that and you just upload you do your biweekly history test, you do your book reviews, and you grade yourself, you make the website, and then it becomes black and white, you know? And if you're the only one who does it, like me, and then you can, you know, you and then that actually hurts you and makes it so that you're unqualified for everything. You just keep doing it until it becomes more mainstream and then more mainstream, because it'll have to become mainstream, because we're going to get to a crisis point where there's oversaturation of people doing the, bragging about how tough they are and how violent they are and how violent you should be and how violent you need to teach your kid to be. As if everybody and their dog is a goddamn violent bully, man. Like, dude, kids tried to pick fights with me when I was 3 times kids tried to pick fights with me. You know what I did? I just ran away from them. There's this one kid who kept running after me, and I'm like, what are you doing? Keep running after me. I mean, he's a kid who I easily could have beat up. All I did was go to the teacher, and I said, this kid, he's like running after me. And then she asked him what happened, and I guess apparently I threw him off of a bench, and he got mad at me for that. I didn't have any recollection of that. I think he made it up. Or maybe I did it a couple weeks beforehand, but that's how you should be. But now we're all twisted and turned, and you're like a Christian, but then if you messing with my kid, I'll kill. What about the cops, dude? So that's what happens. It'll make people, if you platform the wrong people, then they become the influencers, right? And then they influence you to become you get respect for being a bad person, and then you get respect for knowing things that are useless, and then there's no opportunity to shine. So yeah, we come to a crisis point. People aren't making money doing that, even though I was a Navy SEAL. And then people have to just be like, look, it's okay to just have an actual honest job. It's okay to not be rich. If we our economy is okay where you get UBI, it's okay to not have money, and then to just do videos just to try to teach people what you know, and to motivate people. You know, like if I did a video, a biweekly history test or an IQ test, and I didn't do well, somebody watched it, that could encourage them to, you know, to do better and then to beat me. There could be like friendly competitions between people, and then you have the highest scoring people. There's your opportunity to shine, because there's no piece of shit teacher who can just make up the rules as they go along and kick you out. You know, because then all the butt lickers are the ones. Man, you know, and like there is this one bitch who was fucking this one teacher or whatever, and this fucking bitch is like a year younger than me, graduating before me, with like two different. That's my mom, with two different education, the kids and the adult. And it's like, how'd you do that? How'd you swing that? Because I'm not even getting anything. I'll call her back later. That's because the teacher has all the power. The teacher gets to pick and choose. So yeah, there's going to become a crisis point where schools are overpriced. They realize that, you know, there's enough people who have the experience that I do. They give up. They tell their kids it's all bullshit. People, you know, Elon Musk even is like, I don't care about college. I'll just care what you know. People can self-educate with technology. So it'll naturally. So then when somebody like me has an idea, and I even have a bunch of the videos showing, it'll naturally go in that direction, and people will start to have respect for individual actors who just have the knowledge that can't be, you know, you can't hide. It's like it's the test of truth, you know, like a time trial, the race of truth, nobody to draft off of. That's how strong you are. Well, same thing with the education. Like, there's your history test. That's how good you are. It's all up for everybody to see, and there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. So, in the future, you know, people I think will have respect. They'll have to, because they'll lose respect, and then they'll be like, well, what's next? You know, and they'll be like, oh, it's all, we should just get rid of it. We should just not do social media anymore and go back to the old technology, you know. And then, well, what about when you use technology to, in an actual ordered way, a standardized way where you take this biweekly history test to prove what you know, and you have the test and the grading. There's your opportunity to shine. So I think that's the future. So I'm super fired up. Like last night I started grading myself with my test that I took on September 15th. And yeah, I'm going to grade myself as fast as I can now, and then take another test, and then just start getting prolific with it, pumping them up. Every 2 weeks, another one, boom, 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 boom. And the actual exercise videos, like the standardized ones. Anyway, that's my mom. So we will continue this later.